PIX11, it affects over 30 million women in the United States, but it's not really something that's openly discussed.
Yeah, so PIX11 sponsor MHN Hair Studio is hosting a series of free seminars to help women who are suffering in silence. What are we talking about? Dr. Steve is here with all the details on this. Steve.
Hey, Kirsten, when we think of hair loss, we typically think of guys, right? But as you just heard, millions of women suffer from hair loss as well. And one of those women is Kayla Martel, who lost her hair at the age of 11 years old. She's joining me this morning with her inspiring story, along with Flora Fuentes. She's the managing director of MHN Hair Restoration. Good to see you guys this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
So, Kayla, 11 years old. I mean, your hair falls out. Did you completely freak out?
Lose my mind.
Right.
I think at 11 you have no idea why you're losing your hair. My first instinct was to think that I was dying, because the only women who I had met losing their hair were going through chemotherapy, which at that age you associate with something really serious.
Right.
So it was really scary at the time.
But you actually had alopecia instead, right?
Yes, yep, I have alopecia areata. I was diagnosed very quickly, and it was kind of a relief to know that I had something that wasn't terminal. It didn't affect other parts of my body, but on the other hand, really frustrating to know that it was unexplainable and there was no cure.
Right. Now, a lot of people might have been totally devastated by that and kind of like curled up in a ball and run in a corner and been very upset, but you kind of still chased this dream that you had. Tell folks about that. It's incredible.
I knew I wanted to be Miss Delaware from the time I was 3 years old.
In a beauty pageant?
In a beauty pageant,
right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and so when I told my mom as a teenager I wanted to become Miss Delaware, mind you, I have been losing my hair for a couple of years. I had this mullet situation going on where I'm losing my hair on the top and not in the back, and I think my mom was just terrified that I was going to be eaten alive or something on stage. But thankfully, I just decided to put it out there and share my story and embrace who I was. And
you made it.
And I made it.
Yeah, you were Miss Delaware, right?
Yes, yes.
That's fantastic.
Yep, competed at Miss America too, so
unbelievable.
It was incredible.
Wow. Yep. Okay, so Flora, let's talk about alopecia. Alopecia is one form of hair loss. Millions of women suffer from all different kinds of hair loss.
Yes, about 30 million women in the United States suffer from a more common form of hair loss called androgenetic alopecia, which is really inherited or can be due to hormonal imbalances. And what occurs during that case is that hair just starts to thin out or diffuse over a period of time. It just gets finer and finer.
Right, so they don't get that same pattern that guys do, but they can get that kind of thinning. All right, so what are the options out there for women? Obviously, everybody knows there's wigs, but what are some other options?
Well, there's low-level laser therapy, which actually helps prevent further loss of hair, preserve the hair that you have, so that you can pretty much stop the hair loss. There is non-surgical methods of restoration where you can add hair and blend in between the areas of hair loss, and there's also hair transplantation surgery that's available for women.
All right, so there's a lot of different options, and you have a free seminar. I think it's tonight and tomorrow. Tell the folks about that.
We are hosting a free women's hair loss seminar. We actually offered one in the beginning of the year, and we had such a great response. Women who wanted more information about their hair loss. And so this is really educational, just to get the facts about hair loss, whether your hair loss is temporary, permanent, what is available, and what actually works.
Right, and I think it's so important to have seminars like this because, like we were saying earlier, so many women do suffer in silence. It's like, yeah, guys bald, people, no big deal. So Kayla, what do you want to say to women out there who may be experiencing hair loss? Because you're such an inspiration to them.
Just to know that you're not alone and the options are out there. It's so important to figure out what the cause of your hair loss is and then figure out what solution is going to work for you. You don't have to go through it alone.
Yeah, and look, I mean, you wound up Miss Delaware. I mean,
That's
seriously.
Right.
All right, ladies, thanks so much for coming and really appreciate it.
Thank
As we mentioned, our sponsor MHN Hair Restoration is hosting this free seminar, women's hair loss seminars, tonight in Queens and tomorrow here in Manhattan. Both events are from 7 to 9 p.m. For all the details, log on to our website, PIX11.com/morningnews.